Everybody's been taking pot shots at your guy, Tom Brady. First it was Randy Moss for like 4 days straight, and now it's Tom Kernan who's been in, and Tom Kernan and I, we haven't agreed on much. But I agree on this one. But Skip, I've said this. If you let me write the oral argument, I can make the very compelling case for two people, and that's Jerry Rice and Lawrence Taylor, as the best players to ever play in the NFL, because Lawrence Taylor made two positions famous. If you did not have a left tackle, you could not beat the Giants, and you could not represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. So he made Washington go Jacoby and the Jim Lachey's, and he made you go get a Gary Zimmerman, and he made you get a Wallace for San Francisco and the Irv Eatmans. You had to have that, or you couldn't beat him. And now you see everybody's like, well, hold on. Not only do we need a left tackle, can we find somebody? Can we get a Derek Thomas, or Cornelius Bennett, a Von Miller, Khalil Mack, a T.J. Watt? All these guys was because of 5'6" at the Giants. And I just keep telling you, I don't even know I don't even really know what to say about Jerry. Because what he did, Skip, Jerry was a guy, not only could he get deep, but Jerry was one of the first guys that could take a 5-yard route and turn it into an 80-yard spectacular. Because in the true West Coast, it's all about getting the ball in the guy's hands and running after the catch. And you look at the guys that played, I'm talking about the really good receivers that played in the West Coast. Jerry, my brother, T.O., all of them could do what? Run after catch. They ran angry. And for me, Skip, I don't think anybody's going to touch his records. I don't see anybody getting 22,000 yards. I don't see that 197 receiving touchdown, Skip. That ain't happening. It's over. Forget it. Let that sink in. Who's still playing? Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald is like 70 touchdowns away. Skip, he's never going to get it. He's like 8,000 yards away. He's never going to get it. So for me, Tom Kernan is right. I can make the argument for either one. But if he said Jerry, I won't fight him. If he just said Lawrence Taylor, I wouldn't have fought him. I just will fight you if you say you know who.
The links you will go to.
I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere.
To discredit Tom Brady's goatness. The links you will reach for to undercut him, to demean his football reputation, to try to make the silly case that he's not the GOAT. Of the case you just made, I will give you Lawrence Taylor before I'll give you Jerry Rice. Because Lawrence Taylor did not play a dependent position. He wreaked havoc from the other side of the ball. He was virtually unblockable.
He was.
He destroyed entire offenses. So I'll give you at least that it's a viable argument. But with Jerry Rice, as much I know Jerry very well, I have nothing but awe and respect for him. But I feel like it's beneath my dignity to have to stoop to even do this argument with you, because it's not even close. It's not even an argument.
Yeah.
Jerry won how many MVPs?
None.
None. He won one Super Bowl MVP that was a little fraudulent.
How?
Because the votes had to be in with about a minute left in the game. That's the way the NFL had to do business in those days. I was sitting right there in the press box watching this in Miami, early 1989. Bengals, Super Bowl 23, great number. And Jerry had 200 and some yards.
Yeah, I think he had 206, something like that.
And yet, votes are in, and Joe Montana throws a last-second touchdown pass to the other receiver, John Taylor, to win the football game. Joe should have been that MVP the way he was the MVPs of his other Super Bowls. Shannon, you know this better than anybody on this planet. That position, as was yours, is a dependent position. It is far, far, far harder to take the snap, to read the defense, to avoid the on-rushers, and try to keep your eyes upfield, to find the most open target and to throw that target a catchable pass, an accurate catchable pass. It's far, far, far harder to do that than to catch that pass. I'm sorry, you're disqualified by the very position you play if you're giving me Jerry Rice versus Tom Brady.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, for me is that I value guys that are not as protected. You know, Tom Brady, every snap, he has 5 guys protecting him, sometimes 6 or 7. Jerry didn't have that.
Okay, but he also has 5 guys trying to knock him down.
Yeah,
okay.
But Jerry, how many Jerry got? What you think? Just imagine if Jerry says, you know what? I'm going to catch this ball, but I got a tight end down the field that's going to block the safety before he hits me. Or I'm going to have another receiver on the other side that's going to block. That's what Tom Brady has, Skip. And you look at Jerry, now man, Skip, Jerry put up the lion's share of his yards in a running league. Jerry's offense, his first 5 years, they were top 10 in rushing.
It was revolutionary. It was invented by his head coach.
Yes.
The great Bill Walsh. I think he's the greatest coach ever.
And
he picked Jerry.
He did.
Stole
he stole
Jerry
it.
because he didn't run fast.
He did.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Skip, when Jerry had 22 receiving touchdowns in 1987, they led the league in rushing.
Yep.
Name a team. So whoever led the league. So what do you think the likelihood of a receiver for the Baltimore Ravens, because they led the league in rushing, what do you think the likelihood of them having a receiver that leads the league in touchdown reception and while leading the league in rushing? Because that's what he did. He did that.
He was great at what he did. You can argue he was the all-time greatest, though I always argue Michael Irvin, because Michael had an intangible Jerry has never had. Jerry was more of a follower than a leader. Michael was the driving force, the leader of teams that should have won maybe 5 straight Super Bowls if Jimmy and Jerry had been able to stay together. Michael, I was there. He was the epicenter of that locker room. And I know he had his issues off the field, but he could lead on the field, locker room, sideline, huddle, the way no receiver to me has ever led a football team.
You do know Jerry got 750 more catches.
Okay, I got that.
He has 11,000 more yards. He has 130 touchdowns more.
Okay, those were definitely running Cowboy teams with Emmitt Smith, who is the all-time leading rusher.
Yes.
But in the end, all you need to know is that Brady has won 3 MVPs to Jerry's 0.
Jerry got two offensive players of the year, I think.
Okay, but on MVPs, the guy who dominates the league, Jerry doesn't have a chance to win that award.
Right.
Okay, so Tom Brady, in 20 years in Foxborough, played in 9 Super Bowls and won 6 of them. 6 out of 9. Jerry won 3 Super Bowls in 4 tries.
Yep.
Okay, it's very good. I'll even give you great. This is all-time greatest. This is Tom Brady, who never had a superstar receiver except for a glimpse of Randy Moss in 2007. It was really only 07, and he had Gronkowski. I will give you those 2. But other than that, he's done it with a lot of nothing. And meanwhile, Jerry Rice, and again, it's a dependent position, so you're a product of. The creator is the quarterback, and he got to play with Joe Montana and Steve Young, Hall of Famers, for a coach who, again, to me, was the greatest ever. Greatest offensive mind and the greatest picker of players that I've ever seen was Bill Walsh.
Right.
So he was right place, right time, and he was great, all-time great at what he did. But what he did does not measure up to Brady's position as the quarterback and the leader in the locker room of a Patriot way culture in which the coach was a tyrant. The coach was a sarcastic, verbally abusing dictator.
We trying to win, right?
Okay, I got it. But it took Tom Brady in the locker room saying, hey, guys, it's just the way he is. We're going to be okay. Tom Brady was the buffer between the tyrant and a bunch of players who often wanted to revolt against the tyrant because you can't talk to me like that in practice or film session. It's okay, said Tom Brady. We're going to win in spite of. And they won. They got to 9 Super Bowls in 20 years.
Well, he became that. He wasn't always like that.
No, but
he didn't talk to LT like that.
Okay. Who did? No, Belichick.
Belichick. Hell no.
No, but once he failed in Cleveland, was failing in New England, and once Brady fell out of his heaven into his lap out of the 6th round, and they won 1 Super Bowl, more because of their defense than the offense, Napoleon took over.
Yeah, and I think that's what happens, Skip, because once you win that title, Skip, once you have a Super Bowl behind your resume, it's almost like, okay, whatever he says is gospel. It's kind of like a quarterback that has that Super Bowl. When Peyton Manning goes to Denver, they realize Kurt Warner goes to Arizona. That's instant credibility. So any coach, obviously, Mike McCarthy now is in Dallas. He has instant credibility, Skip, because he has that Lombardi. And after you've been in the league and you haven't won it, you realize how hard it is, and he has won. Coach Belichick has 6. So how does anybody go to New England and not listen to what he has to say.
Okay. My final point to you is this. Tom Brady still does not get enough credit for winning 6 rings with 6 game-winning drives. Montana's Super Bowls, except for that last one, were huge blowouts.
Well, he had a game. He had a game-winning. No, he had a game-winning drive in the first one and the second, both against Cincinnati, with game-winning drives. Except Miami, he blew Miami out the water, and they blew
Denver. It was a
in New
complete
Orleans,
wipeout.
That was before I got there. I would have made things different.
I got it. I appreciate that. Tom Brady has never benefited from a Super Bowl blowout. He had to go win it fairly late to very late in all those games, and he pulled off game-winning drives 6 times in 6 championships. Had pulled off another game-winning drive in the first Eli Super Bowl, and it got canceled by Eli going 83 yards.
That's a great luxury to have, to know you're not going to be in a shootout. And the one time he was in a shootout, what happened? He caught the L. Well, he got what you call him turned into a shootout, Carolina, because there was no scoring skip in the first quarter, and then all of a sudden,
was it 32-29?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, couldn't nobody stop anybody.
Yeah, but again, Brady set the all-time playoff passing record of 505 yards and put up 33 points and lost 41-33 to the backup quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, while Belichick.
Well, that disqualifies it. You can't lose to a backup.
But
you
wait a
can't
second.
lose to a backup in Eli.
Coach Napoleon somehow doghoused Malcolm Butler for the entire game after he led the defense in snaps played. I don't know what happened.
Help me understand.
Mysterious. Felt a little sabotage.
Social media, I need y'all to help me understand. Because when we talked about The Last Dance for like 2 weeks, and Skip said Michael Jordan was trying to motivate the guys, being tough, being difficult on them, being condescending, saying things, call them all out their name. Well, he's trying to win. Coach Belichick is, he's Napoleonic. He's a tyrant. He's a dictator. Wasn't he trying to win? They got the same results, got the same many titles, and he did it over a longer term. But one guy you like, Michael Jordan, the other guy you dislike, his way is wrong, but the other guy's right, even though they did it the exact same way and got the same results.
Bill Belichick played lacrosse at a Division III school. D3.
Skip.
Played lacrosse.
He wasn't playing.
Okay.
He was coaching. All I'm saying is the tactics that Michael Jordan used to motivate the guys, Coach Belichick used those same tactics.
Michael could all-time back it up.
He could too.
How?
With that defense.
He could back it up because he had 12 playing quarterback.
He had that defense.
Yeah, that who validated him was 12.
Willie McGinnis. Willie McGinnis is the all-time sack leader in playoff history. Ty Law getting pick sixes left and right. Vrabel catching touch. Look at that.
Brady, game-winning drive, game-winning drive. Here we go again.
How do you get a game-winning drive if your defense give up 45? So Coach Belichick defense keeps them in every game, and then Tom does what he does. Okay.
That's goatness to me.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.